Frank Martin is the South Carolina head basketball coach. The Gamecocks have gone to the Sweet 16 now for the first time in school history as they beat Marquette, they beat Duke, and tomorrow night in New York City they've got Baylor. Coach, congratulations and happy birthday today.
Thank you, Dan. Congratulations is that I made it to 51 or that we're actually still playing?
What's a bigger accomplishment?
They're both unbelievable. You had asked me at 25, I'd say neither one, but I'm extremely happy.
But we were thinking about this when the guys, I said, we should get you on, once you guys made it to the Sweet 16, and they go, was he in the military? Now, they assumed you were a sergeant in the military. Why is it that when people look at you, you give that feeling of you're going to ask somebody to drop and give you 20?
It comes from my grandmother. Her dad, my great-grandfather, was the equivalent of a lieutenant colonel that fought in the independence war for Cuba against Spain for Cuba's freedom back in the late 1890s. And obviously he raised her. And that's where that personality, that side of me, that's where it comes from.
What kind of jobs have you had besides basketball coach?
How long do we have? Change boy at a pool hall, dishwasher at a restaurant, busboy, bartender, waiter, landscaping, newspaper. You remember when newspapers were relevant?
Yeah, when you delivered them?
Yeah, well, I actually go door to door to sell subscriptions.
Oh, yeah.
The one that everyone likes talking about, bouncing. I've had my share in teaching, which is my baby, education.
What kind of bouncer were you?
Everyone thinks bouncers, there's some, just like in everything else, that let's start the fight, let's throw people around. Those moments aren't fun. You learn to put out fires, not create fires. It's those moments aren't a lot of fun. So it's you're always looking to settle people down and kind of get the problem out of the way, not create a bigger problem.
When's the last time you got punched in the face?
Ooh. It's been a while. Middle 90s, which is when I stopped. Yeah, that's not fun.
What happened after that?
It hurts.
What happened to the guy who punched you, Frank?
He didn't have a good night.
He did not.
Yeah. Neither did I. That's not a fun moment. It's been a while. You got me thinking now.
Do your kids know? Your players know what you were like in another life?
I talk to them about everything that my life's been about because I think it's important they understand that it's not all glitz and glamour like everyone thinks it is right now.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of what I do, Dan.
Well, you're looking for teaching moments.
Yeah. That's the beauty of what I do, Dan, is I get these kids and society's got them thinking that life's easy and that it holds you back. And I show them, like, look at me, man. Look where I come from. Look what I had. I had people in my life that I could have strayed the wrong way, but instead they kept me in the right place. And no one ever would have thought that I had a chance to ever be. I was a bad player. Talk about bad. I was a bad player. But yet I'm the head basketball coach at an unbelievable university, and and I want people, and especially young kids, to know you put your mind to it, you try to do right by people, you listen, you don't run around with the answers. Eventually a door opens up. Be prepared and take advantage of it.
You're pretty emotional after the win over Duke.
Yeah.
Because you can't prepare for the moment.
No.
You hope for the moment. But why was the emotion so strong that I don't even know if you could address your team? I don't know if you could talk.
Yeah, I couldn't. I was asked, why did you say, let's go win this thing? I couldn't get any other words out. If I would have tried to address anything to the players at that moment, I would have just completely come apart at the seams. Dan, it's a lot of things. It's my family, the situation that my family went through to come to this country, to raise me. The players that I've had in my life, I've been surrounded by incredible people my whole life, from other coaches to players. When I took a leap of faith when I left Kansas State to go to South Carolina. I don't have a godfather. My godfather in this business, you know well, Bob Huggins.
Yeah.
So he's a godfather in a different way. But I don't have anyone to protect me in this business if I fail. It's my family, my wife. When I said, let's do this, she didn't say, well, she said, this is what you think, let's do it. My staff, the players in that locker room, that we stunk. We were no good. We were no good, not just as a team, as a program. We were bad. And those kids signed up, and they came on board. And all of a sudden, it all hit me when I saw Coach K motion to his players, don't foul. Everyone thinks that you're up 7 with 20 seconds to go and game's over. No, I'm worried about there's a 7-point play somewhere in that Duke bag that's going to tie the game. But when I saw him wave his players off, that's when it hit me. I kind of stood there and I was like, these kids actually got this done. This is unbelievable.
Well, and it's Duke.
Correct.
And you're looking at Mike Krzyzewski.
Correct.
And you've just beaten his team.
And not yet. And there's another little twist to all that. In 1998, I went through a situation as a high school coach where I lost my coaching job. I kept my teaching job, but I lost my coaching job. So that's the first time in my life that I said, let me try and get into college. And I wrote 120, 140 letters to coaches around the country. One guy sent me a handwritten note back. It was Coach K. And I didn't even know him back then. He knew who I was because I was part of a very successful high school team. But all that kind of all lumped into that one moment there. Our school, we couldn't host an NCAA event a year and a half ago in our state. Now we're able to do it. Yeah. We hadn't been to the tournament in 13 years. We hadn't won a game in 44 years. Those kids didn't have seniors to teach them how to become seniors one day. My staff, their families, they believed, they all came with me. It was a culmination of all those things put together. And it was for me personally, it was a powerful, powerful moment.
How important was the game to be in South Carolina? Because originally it was going to be in North Carolina.
For our state was incredible. To be able to show what a great state we have, how progressive we are, the willingness to continue to move forward. It was awesome. And then for me, I'm trying to build basketball in our state. Our state has some great high school coaches, that have done it for a long time, but never gotten the recognition for it because our university hasn't had postseason success. We've had Frank McGuire, Eddie Fogler, Dave Odom, unbelievable run of coaches. Yeah. But we haven't had postseason success in so long that you know how this goes. You can be 29-0. You lose in the first round of the tournament, you had a bad year. Yeah. And because of that moment, that tournament in our state, we can grow basketball in our state. It makes it easier for us. There's young kids right now that want to be Sindarius Thornwell, want to be P.J. Dozier. Local kids that stayed on board, and they're making unbelievable things happen.
Now, I saw you a couple of years ago at an Under Armour event, but that's not the first time we've met.
Ooh. I'm just going to give you a hint. 1997, San Antonio, Final Four, Bob Huggins, Billy Donovan, Brett Barrett, car bombs. and I don't know. I don't know if this day and age, that last word I said is kind of like, but I think we all know what we're talking about.
Yeah, we were having a beverage or two.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, Paulie.
Coach, was that the last time you had to escort someone out of a bar? If you know what I mean.
I think we all needed to be escorted out. You remember Brett Barrett?
Yeah, and he played at Kentucky.
Yeah, but did you remember what he did that night?
No.
We were all engaging in these adult activities and
drinking.
Yeah, and our conversations were starting to kind of not. Only we can understand. The average person couldn't understand what we're saying anymore.
Yeah.
And he kind of disappeared. He got rid of a lot of those beverages through the north end.
Yeah.
And came right back and did another bomb. It's just like, wow. Wow.
Did you go to the Kevin Costner party that year?
No.
Okay.
That was, I want to say we were, I can't remember. It was you know that little river area in San Antonio. That's where we were at, and I was a young high school coach at the time, and Hugs and I, dear friends, Billy Donovan and I had become very good friends, and they called me and said, "Where are you at? Come join us." And that was awesome for me because I know you're a big Reds fan, and I grew up unbelievable Reds fan, and so it's
car bombs.
That's
car bombs.
And that Irish whiskey's something else now.
If you make the Final Four, then let's do more car bombs.
Dan, this is what I'll say. I haven't had a drink in
since the car bombs.
No, I had plenty. Here, I got a great story for you. I'm pancreatitis, so I'm in the hospital for 14 days, and it's the last day I'm in the hospital, and they're finally letting me out. This is in 2011 years ago. And Hugs comes over. We're in Manhattan, Kansas. We had just taken the job. Hugs comes to the hospital and says, "Hey, I hear you're good and you're getting out today." And I said, he goes, "What are you depressed about?" I said, "The doctor just said I can't ever have cold beer again." Hugs says, "Frank, let's be honest. Don't you think you've had enough?" I said, "Talk about the pot calling the kettle black now. My God."
I like that Bob Huggins, when he was at Cincinnati, had his own bar.
How about that?
Called the Hugs Inn.
Hugs Inn. Hugs Inn. I was in it when I was a high school coach in Miami. I was up there, and we had several that night, too.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Congrats on the success this year. It's great to see you.
Thank you.
And good luck against Baylor tomorrow night, Coach.
Appreciate that, Dan.
Happy birthday. 51. Who would have thought? I took the under with you. Our Coach's Corner, brought to you by Continental Tire. Continental Tire is the proud sponsor of the Dan Patrick Show, the exclusive tire of the Dan Patrick Show. No matter where you drive or what you drive, Continental Tire, they design a tire for you and what you like to do. For more information, visit ContinentalTire.com. Continental Tire for what you do.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.